energy use during peak demand. So I've seen some really cool gadgets here lately that allow people to turn off the power at their homes or their offices remotely through the phone or through the BlackBerry. Now just think about it, that you go to work in the morning, your kids are still at home, you still need to have the air conditioner on and the electricity and the computers on, and then from your office you can remotely now turn off at 9 o'clock in the morning, let's say, all the computers, the electricity and the air conditioner and everything. Think about how much energy you can save. And this is why, because of this technology, this is why California is so far ahead of the rest of the nation. We in California, we are 40% more energy efficient than the rest of the nation. We per capita have not increased energy use for the last 30 years. So this is all because of technology. And some of California's biggest utilities, like Edison and PG&E, are leading in developing smart grid technology. And I know many of you out there are doing pioneering work as well. And as you can see, so many Californian businesses are on the cutting edge of innovation. And I just thank the world of California's companies. And I want to just acknowledge two of those companies, two of those businesses who are with us here today. And this is the two great California success stories. Two of the world's great technology giants, Oracle and Sun. These two companies hold more than 11,000 patents and employ 16,000 people in California and 150,000 people worldwide. So let me just take a moment to congratulate Larry Allison and Scott McNeely on their new partnership and their great work they're doing for the state of California. Let's give them a big hand. Together, I know that the sky is the limit for you and also your employees. And of course, I love seeing all this great action in the private sector. But let's not forget, that's not the only place where there should be action. Also in the public sector, there should be action. The only thing is that 6 years ago when I became governor, the state of California's IT was in the dark ages, let me tell you. IT infrastructure was stale and it was outdated. So I hired Terry Takai, who was the head of IT in Michigan, made Michigan to the #1 in IT, and we now are moving our way up. First we were not even in the top 20%, in the top 20. Now then we moved to 15th, then to 10th. Now we're in the top 5, and within the next few years we will be also #1 in this particular area. So it's Ashishi. The perfect example of the progress that we make is if you look at the GIS, which is the Geographic Information Systems. I've seen that firsthand. GIS is a form of digital mapping technology that our fire departments are now using. So many times when there are big fires, people are wondering why did they have the helicopters, at the airport, why are they not taking off and dumping fire retardant? Well, when there is a lot of fire and there's a lot of smoke, and the wind, they cannot see the ground, and therefore they cannot go and dump the fire retardant at that time. They're waiting for a little wind to take that smoke away. But now, through this technology, digital mapping technology, our fire departments are using this continuously. Through big firestorms, it allows firefighters to see through that smoke, giving them more accurate, real-time view of the conditions on the ground. Think for a second about the awesome power of this technology. That information could quite literally make the difference between life and death, make the difference between a home burning or not. And like I said, I have seen it firsthand, the kind of advantages that the fire departments have. And of course, we have already the best trained, the most courageous firefighters in the world. But with the great technology that they have, it makes them literally the best in the world. There's no two ways about that. So as you can see, technology not only is some abstract concept, if it is whether it's saving homes from a fire, or saving lives through medical technology, or cleaning the air that our children breathe, or making our businesses more efficient, technology's impact is in flesh and blood. All across the state and all around the world, I've seen the infinite limits of technology. I've seen the infinite limits of the human potential. That is why, even though we are in the midst of a crisis, of an economic crisis, we're going through tough times, I've never been more confident about the future. I'm confident about the future because of all of you. Because while it is true that we face enormous challenges in the next 10, 15 or 20 years, but stop for a moment and just think back 30 years ago. Could you have imagined the progress that we've made in these last 30 years? Computers, the internet, DNA, GPS, catalytic converters, global networking, email, the cell phones, the size of a fist, and so on. The list goes on and on. As a matter of fact, some 40 years ago, a famous scientist made a gloomy assessment of our future. He said our population was growing so fast, way too fast, and that we could not possibly produce enough food to meet the demand. An economic crisis or energy crisis and all those kind of things. But I say to you today, fear not. Because here in this room and at universities, labs, and research offices around the globe, the best and the brightest minds are working to conquer the challenges of the 21st century. You are truly building the bridge of the 20th to the 21st century. I mean, it is incredible the kind of work that you do. Politicians have spoken in the past about building a bridge of the 21st century, but you are really doing it, let me tell you. So when it comes to Copenhagen, and everyone is now concentrating so much on Copenhagen because they're trying to create the Kyoto Treaty #2, where all the countries in the world are supposed to go and make a commitment to reduce their greenhouse gases. But even though we wish them well, and we at a regional level and state level and the various different cities around the world are all supporting that drive, and we're trying to do everything to support them. But I think that will never happen until the technology shows to those countries that they can reduce the greenhouse gases and do it without really interrupting the economic flow and without hurting the economy, and at the same time protecting the environment. I mean, I think that if we get with science and with technology to the level where we can easily reduce the greenhouse gases, and I think that the only way we will be able to do that is through technology. Unless that happens, I think that those countries will never commit themselves to this. So it's not the agreement that they're going to sign in Copenhagen. What really will create the action to fight global warming is right in this room here, is right with you. I think technology will save us all. So this is why I wanted to come here today to let you know that this is the big challenge of the future. And I hope that all of you have a terrific time while you're meeting here and in this conference. And of course, after you're finished with this conference, I just want to ask you for one favor. Don't go home. just stay here, travel up and down the state of California, and spend as much money as possible. Because we need your revenues. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll be back. Hasta la vista, baby.
To the state of California and something very old to the state of California, and that's the America's Cup. So a little present, it's the Oracle BMW America's Cup racing jacket, and I hope that's going to be the winning jacket this time around.